inviting Dr. Bimal Patel, our president, to give his address. Dr. Bimal Patel.
Thank you very much, Chirayu, and good evening and welcome to everybody. I think, I feel like waving and shouting and say, it's wonderful to see everybody here. Thank you very much. This is terrific. Let me, I need to get into this view where I can see everybody together.
One second. I will change that. Okay. Are you able
to? This is terrific. Then I can see a lot more people. Otherwise, I just see myself speaking and it's no fun. This feels somewhat a little bit like I'm speaking to a bunch of people, and this is good. So thank you everybody for being here, and good evening. Welcome to all of you. Since Monsoon 2018, as you all know, CEPT University has established awards for excellence in student work which is done as part of the studio units in the undergraduate program. This applies to the L2 studio units, second and third year people, and L3 studio units for fourth and fifth year people. These awards, these excellence awards, are intended to complement the regular grade that students receive from their tutors. This is the fourth iteration of the awards and the exhibition. They're called the CEPT Excellence Awards. And once again, there's a slight change in the process this time based on the feedback from previous cycles and the special circumstances in which we are working this year. As you all know, the objective of the Excellence Awards and exhibition is to ratchet up excellence in teaching and learning at CEPT. I think this is the most important thing that we are doing at CEPT, which is the pursuit of excellence. The awards and exhibition aim to recognize and celebrate the best student work done as part of studio units each semester. And these awards are identified by a special jury appointed by the university. The Excellence Awards and exhibition was not held at the end of spring 2020 due to COVID and related transition to online teaching. In December 2020, when we restarted the process for the Excellence Awards, the process also had to be tweaked to correspond with the online nature of studio units in the monsoon semester. Overall, it is heartening to see the tremendous level of work done by students despite the challenge of COVID, being distanced from peers while working. And this is really heartening. Almost all BOR members commended the high quality of work produced during the last semester. This time, the jury panel for the CEPT Excellence Awards comprised the following people. First, Archana Shah, who is a textile designer from NID and founder of Bandage. She has designed costumes for theater and a few feature films. She's also designed architectural textile installations at Festival of India, inaugurations at Paris, Moscow, Leningrad, and Tashkent. Everybody knows Archana. And Archana, thank you for your role in this award procedure. The next person is Bobby Desai. He's an architect with over 25 years of practice experience. He holds a BA honors in architecture from Kingston University and a postgraduate diploma honors from the Architectural Association London. Bobby Desai was also the chair of the jury panel. Thank you for your role, Bobby. Dinesh Sharma is a product designer based in Ahmedabad. He was trained at the Indo-German Tool Room in precision manufacturing and holds a diploma from NID. Stephen Smith was the fourth member. Stephen Smith has over 30 years professional experience as practicing architect and urbanist, working on a diverse international portfolio of projects. Since 2010, through his firm Urban Commemorative, he works with clients to create the language for new urban places through research, interactive design, events, and enriched conversations. This is indeed an excellent jury. All of these people are represent excellence in the fields in which they work. And thank you all very much for being part of this process. Walter D'Souza, who has been part of previous jury panels, was unable to participate in this cycle, and we hope that he will rejoin in the coming cycles. At the time of the semester end exhibition for Monsoon 2020, which was held online, each studio unit nominated up to 3 student projects to be considered for the CEPT Excellence Awards. The jury panel reviewed all nominated student projects and all studio units overall at L2 and L3 levels. I know this was a lot of work, a lot of effort put in by all these people. They shortlisted 30 students and 15 studio units for consideration for the Excellence Award. So that was the shortlist, 30 students and 15 studio units. All shortlisted projects and studio units made a short presentation to the jury panel, and from amongst them, the jury selected 15 student projects and 8 studio units as winners of the Excellence Awards. I'd like to clarify that as a university, there was no mandate given to the jury panel regarding the direction of work that is favored by the university or the number of award winners they needed to select. We left it entirely up to them. All that we said was, please tell us what you find as the most excellent work that you see in this work that is done. Their only mandate was to select projects and studio units that reflect excellence. Typically, the jury panel also selects the top 3 student projects, which will receive a cash award of rupees 1 lakh each, supported by the Gujral Foundation. These are called the CEPT Gujral Foundation Excellence Awards. This time, after much deliberation, the jury has decided to award the cash prize to the top 5 student projects, who will each get rupees 1 lakh. Before proceeding further, let me tell you a little bit about Gujral Foundation. The Gujral Foundation was set up by Mohit and Firoz Gujral. Firoz Gujral is with us here today, and thank you very much for being here. Both of them are professionals in their own right. They're also a son and daughter-in-law of the eminent painter Satish Gujral, in whose memory also these awards are being put up. Over the last decade, the foundation has supported 150 plus artists in 50 plus projects in India and around the world, including a collateral event at the 56th Venice Biennale, the Kochi Muziris Biennale, the 11th Shanghai Biennale, and many others. The Gujral Foundation has begun a 5-year program with CEPT University, during which they will be presenting 6 annual cash awards to our students. They've been hosting a course at the Winter School and loaning works by some of India's leading contemporary artists and architects to the university. I'm pleased that Mrs. Gujral is with us for this online inauguration and will also be speaking soon. We are pleased to count Mr. Mohit Gujral among our alumni at CEPT, and we are thankful to the Gujral Foundation for their support for these Excellence Awards. Let me share and remind ourselves again why these Excellence Awards are important. If CEPT University has to thrive, it has to be a merit, it has to be a merit-based institution. And for this, we have to be able to recognize excellence and reward excellence. Many of you have done very good work in your studios and in your performance. If we have to move forward, we have to continually raise our own bar, first individually and then collectively as an institution. Only those individuals and institutions that continually raise their own bar thrive. I hope this exhibition and the award will inspire us to move further towards excellence. I would like to thank you, each and every one of you, for all the efforts you are making in moving the university forward. I'm sure that if all of us start pushing ourselves further in small measures each day, we will transcend our limits and rise to higher and higher levels of performance, of excellence, of achievement, and finally of fulfillment. And this is as true for the country as a whole as for our institution. Let me get back to the task at hand. It's wonderful to see the work displayed in the exhibition, which you will all get to see shortly. 15 student projects, which represent the best work in the L2 and L3 studios of the university, are displayed. I congratulate all the students, their tutors, and their TAs for the efforts which have led to this recognition. Alongside, I congratulate tutors, TAs, and students of the 8 studio units which have been recognized at the unit level. I'd like to first of all thank our jury panel for the immense amount of effort that they have put in and the long time spent looking at the different works, pondering and debating over the projects to be included, participating in the presentations, and for your presence today to congratulate all the award winners. I would like to thank our provost, deputy provost, deans, program coordinators, UG, PG office, faculty admin, and everyone else who, through their daily efforts, make it possible for our students and tutors to achieve these levels of excellence. I'd like to especially thank the registrar, the IT team, and the entire admin team who have been working tirelessly all through the pandemic to ensure that the learning journey of our students continues without disruption. I would also like to thank Anjali Kadam and the entire team of the Teaching and Learning Center for working behind the scenes on many activities necessary to arrive to this day. Thanks to the communications team, which is often working in the background to get the information out for everyone to know about this and other initiatives of the university. This online exhibition has come together with the efforts of our terrific exhibition team led by Jai Thakkar and supported by many others. And not to forget, let me once again thank the Gujarat Foundation for their continued support for these excellence awards. On behalf of everyone gathered here, I once again congratulate the award-winning students, tutors, and staff members being recognized today. I'm sure all of us will be inspired by their work and take ourselves and the university to higher levels of excellence. So with that, I'll stop and let's get on with the program. Thank you very much, Chirag, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Bimal. With that, may I now request Ms. Feroz Gujral, Director of Gujral Foundation, to say a few words.
Thank you very much. First, I'm delighted to be invited to speak today, and I know what a tough year it's been through the COVID times. So a very big thank you and well done to all the staff and all the students who have had this online year. It couldn't be easy, especially for professional courses like an architecture course or design course. So congratulations for making this happen. Thank you, CEPT. I'm delighted to have a moment to speak. Thank you very much to the jury. It seems to be an exemplary jury, and I know how tough jury selections are. It's very hard to choose one over another. And finally, thank you, Bimal. You always make us look good. Thank you for your introduction. I'm not sure how many students are on this call. Are there a lot of students?
Yes, there are quite a few online just now, and the others might be joining through the live YouTube link as well. So.
Okay, so I just, I think Bimal has done a great job of thanking the entire institution. I would like to just have a little word for the students. We at the foundation do things which hopefully a little differently. We like to be change makers. We like to be a little bit of an influencing kind of foundation, not in the social media space, but more in our practice. And the practice is primarily to make a difference, to engage more in public space, to change policy, to change how we work, what we do, and most of all, to build India Pride projects. And I'm very happy to have this opportunity to align with CEPT so that we can actually find interesting young minds to actually do this. A lot of what we do, the kind of projects we do, are also architectural and design in nature. And one of them is, of course, a very small an intersection of sculpture within CEPT University. We've done it only once, unfortunately, but we really look forward to this coming September to do more on ground and actually have these exciting, outside forces come in and interact with bright young minds. The second is we have a pavilion project which happens in a public garden or a public space. Last year we did it at Sundar Nursery in Delhi. We are looking at other public spaces to do architectural pavilions, much in the vein of the Serpentine Gallery. Um, and that is something I would really like to reach out to the university and perhaps have more students engage. Maybe I'm really impressed that there were 30 students were just chosen for a short list. That's a large number. And it would be wonderful to actually expand our reach and our open calls to the university, uh, to students and studio groups to actually participate in our pavilion project. The other thing we're looking to do is at the next Architecture Biennale in Venice is definitely to have a presence. That is something which would also be to us really interesting and um, a good point of learning to actually work with students from maybe some of our prize winners to work on the project with us. We also have, a few white papers that we're producing for government for wider scope in architecture and design for public spaces. And we're hoping to reach out also to Bimal for that. So many interesting plans for the foundation, and we are very, very keen to have CEPT as a greater partner, I think, not just in this small way, but in a much larger way. One word for all those winning our prize this time is a great big applause to you. To those who haven't, I would like to say keep the faith. The best is yet to come. We have lots of stuff, and we hope that you can be continuously engaged with us at the foundation long after you have won this award, but also, reach out to us for other things. Um, I think the last thing I would like to say is that architecture is really, as you all know, it marks time, it marks history. You don't have an Egyptian civilization without the pyramids, and you don't have um, a great love story without Taj Mahal. So I think your generation in particular is at a cusp of a very important time in the history of humanity. I think you have possibly the most influence and power any generation has had, thanks to the internet. You also have the most difficult task of saving the planet, which is something that we are not proud to leave to you. But I think you're more than capable. And I think your generation has a lot to give back to our generation, a lot to save for the next. And I think it's a very unique time of creating architecture and design, which is emotional design, which is intelligence design, which is uniting design. And I really, really uh, wish to be part of your journey in this. Mohit and I thank you very much for participating in today, and for we are delighted for the list of people who are going to be announced, and we really look forward to hopefully doing many more things together. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bhima. Thank you, everybody, and all the staff. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Kuchal. It's wonderful to have you with us today. This is the first time that we've had the opportunity to have you be present at this inauguration, and that is one of the learnings of this online transition, is that now some of these things are possible across geographic divides. So we really appreciate the time you spent with us, and we look forward to uh, working together on many of these other initiatives as well. So thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
May I now invite Bobby Desai, chair of the jury panel, to share their notes from the jury for this Monsoon 2020 Excellence Awards.
Thank you, Bimal, and thank you, Firoz. What uplifting words, great encouragement to the university and the students. Well, it's a great delight and a privilege to be invited to participate in the review of projects and course programs nominated for the awards at CEPT University this semester. This is the, I believe it's the fourth exhibition. Sorry, excuse me. Fourth exhibition, and the third time external panel has been invited to assess the work. I think that this is an incredibly important illustrator of the continuing openness and growing confidence in the quality of the work being produced at CEPT at the moment. The panel, as Bimal has already introduced, consists of Archana Shah, textile designer and founder of Bandej, extraordinary entrepreneur, Dinesh Sharma, successful product designer, and Steve Smith, who is an architect, urbanist, practices globally, and is an educator and an author as well. So, and then there's sorry, I'm trying to use the auto cue here. It's not working too well. And then there's me. I have the honor of being the chair of the selection panel, which sounds very grand, but it basically means I get to do all the admin. Going forward. Okay. Just bear with me. I think that I've mentioned this before. I think the creative diversity of the panel has been a great asset to this process. And I think you'll all witness this in the broad spectrum of projects which have been selected. There are a few significant changes to the end of semester exhibition and selection process. So I'd like to take a few moments to explain them, and then to explain what we were looking for and the process that we had followed. This semester, there were two major changes to the selection process. Bimal has touched upon these, but I'd like to elaborate from our perspective. Firstly, the selection process was conducted entirely online, which presented some challenges and some unexpected benefits as well. Secondly, each studio was asked to nominate 3 of their students for consideration to be included in the Excellence Awards exhibition. The nominations were extremely helpful in setting the ambition of each studio. However, as Bimal mentioned, the selection panel reviewed all the student work across all faculties and not just the nominees. So what were we looking for in our process? The objective of the Excellence Awards selection process is to select the best work on show. So we consciously avoided detailed descriptions by tutors and students. Our role was to select the presentations that best spoke for themselves. Therefore, our primary focus was on assessing the quality and clarity with which projects were presented. As a selection panel consisted of professional designers from 4 distinct disciplines, we each brought varying values and different predilections to the selection process. And we each had different ideas about what was or was not a good project. But we were all in complete agreement on what the principal assessment criteria should be, which was the importance of clarity of communication and extremely high standards of presentation. So this is what we were looking for. As students, I'm sure that you're all aspiring to be great designers, whether your passion is interior design, architecture, product design, or urban design. And I'm sure that when you finish your studies, you'll aspire to be successful practitioners in your chosen professions. Now, if you want to be recognized as both a great designer and to be successful, excellence in design and effective and clear visual communication are both an absolute necessity. So this is what we were looking for as a panel. In fact, the origin of the word design is drawing, so the two things are the same. A great design communicated poorly is great only in the mind of the designer. The panel recognized excellence in 2 areas: individual student projects, and studios. Excellent studios fell into two broad categories. Those that had a consistently high standard of individual work across the board, and those that were focused on group learning and research, where the focus was not on individual excellence per se, but the studio objectives were progressive and relevant, and the students were encouraged to take risks and to be experimental. The panel agreed that it is a credit to the university that such experimental and speculative studios are supported and given space to evolve. In both cases, it was clear that the success of the studios was a direct result of a healthy and nurturing learning culture based around rigor, quality, and openness of teaching. Individual works of excellence range from large, complex, strategic infrastructure projects, hugely ambitious, to small, jewel-like, finely resolved domestic scale projects. At an individual project level, we were looking for inventive solutions illustrated with well-crafted and carefully considered presentations. Before buildings are buildings, they are drawings, a fact that has been true for millennia. And while the technology used to create them has become more sophisticated, the most beautiful architectural drawings are always about more than the information they communicate, conveying the style, approach, aspirations, and thinking of their creators, much like art. Some presentations were meticulous and precise. Some were flamboyant and exuberant. We enjoyed them all. So I'd like to tell you about the process that we followed. The panel welcomed the feedback received from faculty and students from the last semester, and we are constantly seeking to evolve and improve the selection process. 175 students were nominated by faculty. The panel, however, reviewed all available student work, so over 700 projects and portfolios, and all 69 studios. We agreed on a long list of 30 students and 15 studios which would be invited to present to the selection panel. They were all invited to make a brief presentation, which was followed by a discussion with the panel. This was an opportunity for the students to reflect, refine, and refocus their work and presentations if they wished to do so. And it was an invaluable opportunity for us to interact with the students and faculty to better understand their objectives and pedagogy. The panel and I would like to congratulate all students and studios on their selection to participate in this stage. To be one of 30 students to be selected to present out of over 700 L1 and L2 students is worthy of recognition. Many of the students that took part in the presentations had done considerable extra work in preparation, and the faculty are to be thanked for taking the time to participate and explain their objectives. After these presentations, it was fair to say there was much lively and passionate discussion amongst the panel before we all agreed on the final list of excellent studios and students. 8 excellent studios and 15 excellent projects were selected. I'm very fond of statistics, so the selected studios represent roughly 12% of the total of 69 L2 and L3 studios, and the students represent approximately 2% of all 717 L1 and L2 students. All 15 students and 8 studio exhibitors are to be congratulated again on being selected at this stage. The next and final stage of the selection process was to select students for the CEPT Gujral Foundation Excellence Awards. In recognition of the heightened standard of this semester's work, it was agreed the number of cash prizes be increased from 3 to 5. It was extremely difficult to choose just 5 from the short list of 15, as it was difficult to choose the 30. Before the 5 prize winners are announced, and whilst I still have a captive audience because you all want to know who won, I would like to make some more general observations about what we saw as a jury panel. As I mentioned, the process was entirely online. During the last 12 months, this form of communication has been adopted as a routine feature of academic and business practice across the world. However, familiarity should not blind us to the huge challenges that have been faced and apparently overcome in adapting to this new mode of communication. It is a testimony to the inventive skills and creativity of CEPT faculty and students that academic work has continued without interruption, despite these new constraints. Moreover, that the work the standard of work we reviewed should be regarded as a minor miracle, for which once again, congratulations are thoroughly deserved to all. The student projects engage with a very diverse range of subjects, scales of design, intervention, and methods of inquiry. Their diversity reflects the real-world condition in which the scope of concerns of the environmental design disciplines is very broad, and like the physical and intellectual universe, apparently expanding at a very great rate. That said, the projects were grounded in an exploration of real-world issues and conditions that this generation of new professionals will face during this most challenged 21st century. On the evidence of the skills on display in this review, the jury all believe we can look forward to a better future for the economy, society, environment, realized through the power of creative design. Finally, I would like to offer congratulations to all those nominated for the Award of Excellence. Given the high standard of submissions, the nomination itself should be regarded as a noteworthy award, regardless of the final selection of prize winners. The members of the selection panel would like to thank the President, the Provost, Deputy Provost, and the Teaching and Learning Center for giving us the opportunity to see and discuss such stimulating work, and for inviting us to contribute to the continuing success of CEPT University. With that, I'll hand over to Chirayu to announce the 5 recipients of the Monsoon 2020 CEPT Gujral Foundation Excellence Awards. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bobby, and thanks to all the others in the jury panel for your immense contribution and participation in this. Once again, thank you. Now, before we get to the meaty part, let me add one more hurdle and request everybody to switch on their video for a little bit so that we can take a group photo in this virtual environment. So can I request everybody to start their videos, whoever doesn't have it on, and the communication team can switch it back to the gallery view or whatever to take the photographs. So a little bit of smile wouldn't help, wouldn't hurt. Yeah.
Yeah.
While we are taking the pictures. Yeah.
A broad smile is preferred.
Broad smile. Okay.
Everybody
yes.
seems to be very, very serious. So yeah. Yes, that's great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right. So with that, I think it's time for me to start presenting my screen to share the names of the award winners. Okay, hopefully people can see this. Right.
We had about 20 pictures I've taken.
Pictures are done? Okay, all right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to the meaty part of this, which is the announcement of the winners. So first we'll start with the student projects. These names are already known, but for the larger public, Ahmad Shabir Pudukode, Project Architectural Co-working Hub from the studio Tectonic Operations by Smith Vyas. Adrita Roy, whose project House at the Lake Edge in Udaipur, from the studio The Joy of Architecture by Ratin Gogari and Sagar Trivedi. Malay Bijal Pandya, whose project and studio titled Social by Catherine Desai and Freya Naklesaria. Almitra R, from Narratives in Architecture by Meghalaria. Shreya Sridhar, whose project is of zest and rest, a melange of staircases, from Narratives in Architecture by Meghalaria. Dhriti Patel, an interactive workstation from the studio Realizing Nolly's Dream, taught by Sachin Soni. Dwij Hirpara, Municipal Ward Office and Public Services from the studio Time, Public and Architecture, taught by faculty Kaivan Mehta. Ruhani's project is the Transfiguring Pavilion from Time, Public and Architecture by Kaivan Mehta. Ahana Banker project is the Pole of the Passerby from the studio Through Words by Shomitro Ghosh and Nisha Matthew Ghosh. Anuj Vagadia, whose project is the Parody Museum from the studio Designing Spaces in Reinforced Concrete by Kruti Shah and Rachit Sheth. Shrushti Mehta's project is Ice and Fire from the studio Fictional Spaces by Jai Thakkar. Bhavya Trivedi, whose project is Hers, His and Theirs from the studio Ungendering the Everyday City by Sahiba Gulati and Bhagyashree Ramakrishnan. Ketki Nandanwar, whose project is From Private to Public. The Future of Everyday Urban Spaces is the studio by faculty member Kiran Keswani. Dharan Kolduvar, his project is Swa, a Vision of Self-Sustenance from the studio Eco Warriors by Mansi Shah and Chandrani Chakravarti. Also from the same studio, Parth Mehta, whose project is Ukiyo, End of Anthropocentric Interventions. Those were the Student Project Awards, and now we come to the Studio Unit Awards. The first one is Tectonic Operations by tutor Smith Vyas and T.A. Vihar Sangani at the Faculty of Architecture, L2. Next is Social Learning by tutors Catherine Desai and Freya Nanklasarya, T.A. Abhishek Thakai at L2, Faculty of Architecture. Narratives in Architecture by tutor Meghalaria. Name of the TA is Priyanshi Jain at L3, Faculty of Architecture. Realizing Noli's Dream, Embedding Architecture in the City by tutor Sachin Soni, TA Netra Bafna, L3, Faculty of Architecture. Time, Public and Architecture by tutor Kaivan Mehta, TA Siddharth Bansal, L3, Faculty of Architecture. Ungendering the Everyday City by tutor Sahiba Gulati and Bhagyashree Ramakrishna, TA Mallika Gupta, L2, Faculty of Planning. Urban Planning and Regulations, Intent, Manifestation and Design by tutors Prashant Narayanan and Zika Nabar Bhasin, TA Gokul Kalaimati, L3, Faculty of Planning. Eco Warriors, Edible to Productive Landscapes, tutors Mansi Shah and Chandrani Chakrabarti, TA Chandani Patel, L3, Faculty of Planning. And with that, we come to the final section. These are the names of the 5 award winners of the CEPT Gujral Foundation Excellence Awards for 2021. These are the students who will be receiving the cash prize in addition to the certificates. And the names are Almitra R, Studio Narratives in Architecture by tutor Meghalaria.
Can we clap or something?
Yeah, sure, we can clap. I think some people will have
all of this time
up.
you have been announcing all these people with excellent work.
They've all been
Congratulations.
clapping, I'm assuming. Yes. Yeah, I'm imagining the clapping in the background, so we can just open our mics and do the clapping as well. Yes. So Almitra R is the first one. Second, Dhriti Patel from the studio Realizing Knowledge Dream. Sachin Soni is the teacher. Third is Dvij Hirpar Time, Public and Architecture. Bhavya Trivedi, Ungendering the Everyday City. And Dharan Kolduwar, Eco Warriors by tutors Mansi Shah and Chandani Chakravarti. Congratulations, everyone. With this, we come to the end of the announcement of names. And once again, congratulations to all who have received the awards and also everybody who has been shortlisted and participated in this. The next now is a curatorial walkthrough of the exhibition. So I request the team to get that started.
The studio Time, Public and Architecture was designed on a few premises. The first premise is that we are in a contemporary as a time defined by a certain set of politics and a certain notion of people and places. If that is what the contemporary is, then what does the contemporary mean in everyday life? Assuming or claiming that the architect is essentially one who intervenes in everyday life, and it is in fact essential for the architect to intervene in everyday life. If these are the conditions within which architecture gets manifested, architecture gets produced, and architecture gets designed, then A, what is the design process? And B, what will be the ways of approaching a language for architecture?
Masterpiece Plan of Rome holds a unique significance for architects and urbanists these days, as it counters the tendency to see buildings as isolated objects outside the very context that gives them life and meaning. Inspired from Knowledge Map, this studio focuses on reinterpreting architectural typologies of infrastructural projects like the upcoming metro stations in Indian cities to make them more accessible and public in character. The studio was initiated through short design exercises and mapping exercises to introduce and understand the city's public spaces and urban edges, followed by the study of typology of transit nodes like metro station, bus station, railway station, through systematic analysis of case studies across the world. Students selected sites of upcoming or existing metro station in their own cities. Sites and contexts were mapped and analyzed for developing a vision and a program for a collective urban place for the metro station. This prompted key spatial strategies and architectural organization, elaborating the vision to embed the project in its context through seeding, networking, and linkages. Later stages focused on developing an architectural language to create the desired spatial quality by integrating various aspects of design and articulation of edges. Overall, every project in the studio attempted to create a setting for urban activities and build connection with its immediate context to make it an accessible part of the city.
Welcome to the Narratives in Architecture, a studio that was triggered by the pandemic, which created an inversion of the public and the private spaces, where people were within their private spaces but globally networked. It uses the powerful tool of storytelling to communicate new meanings and to configure new neighborhoods from within the setting of individual students' locations and homes. We hope you enjoy this journey of these students, beautifully told through stories of imagination and a recognition that new developments may be connected to the idea of degrowth. Thank you.
As architects, we shape the social lives of the inhabitants of the buildings we design. However, the impact of spatial organization on the social occupation of space often remains a little explored architectural question. In our studio, Spatial Learning, we investigate this relationship in both conceptual and measurable terms through the use of analytical methods and software developed by Space Syntax, a research lab at the Bartlett UCL. This semester, our focus was on the design of schools. In this exhibition, we've tabulated the process and some of the results of this exploration. You can zoom in to understand the methodology and process in more detail.
We began by analyzing 19th and 20th century schools to understand how the strategic planning of each accommodated and facilitated different pedagogical ambitions. Students then wrote briefs based on the new National Education Policy 2020 for India, together with individual social programs defined in terms of pedagogy. Topological maps describing the visibility and permeability relationships between spaces were used to understand how each social brief could be facilitated spatially, conceptually. As they developed plans and sections, students conducted analysis at various scales in order to measure how social grouping, interaction, and movement were affected by their design decisions. Finally, analysis was used to construct what we call social perspectives, allowing an accurate pre-configuration of both space and social occupation in unbuilt work. This methodology allowed each student to make informed and evidence-based decisions in the development of buildings, which address the core function of the school, to gather in order to learn in various different settings to meet a pedagogical or social brief.
Hello, this is Tectonic Operations. It's a constructing and a specifying studio with a focus on making architectural working drawings. So each semester, students study construction processes by introducing new programmatic requirements or new functions into outdated buildings. These are old, slightly dilapidated structures which have fallen out of consideration. And conditions of repair, replacement, or introduction of new parts. Through those conditions, we have a situation where old forms, building materials, elements, structural systems mixed with new ones. And that condition is exploited to study construction details.
Hello everyone, the studio Eco Warrior pivots on the link between city, food and ecology, and it invited students for a design challenge that advocates synergy between productivity and urban development, and how we can offer solutions to growing Indian cities from a new and emancipatory lens.
The studio took the case of Gandhinagar, which is defined by low density and decadent public land, offering multiple possibilities for productive integration, such as food, biodiversity, forest, and fauna within the urban grain. The projects went beyond the traditional forms of development and activated new kinds of spatiality. To explore in detail, you could visit the site Productive Urbanism. Thank you from us, Chandrani and Mansi.
Hi, the Studio Urban Planning and Regulation, Intent, Manifestation and Design is premised on the understanding that cities are a product of multiple negotiations between multiple stakeholders, which result in development plans, regulation, judicial proceedings, policies, which tend to have differential impacts on how the city is built and experienced. The studio is largely divided into 3 modules.
Module 1 focuses on the research and introducing the students to the problems via a historic study of the urban development of the city of Mumbai. The module 2 is a bridge between which enables the students to translate their learnings from module 1 into design parameters. And the module 3 pushes the students to further develop and understand the problem by using design as the method of conducting research and analysis.
Hi, I'm Sahiba Gulati.
Hi, I'm Bhagishri Ramakrishna.
Our studio is called Ungendering the Everyday City. It is based on extensive research that the public spaces of our cities encourage access for men and discourage equitable access for women. This has far reaching implications on the everyday lives of women, the opportunities that they can access, the connectivity, sense of belonging, and right to the city. So the studio reimagines public streets and public infrastructure in order to ungender the city.
The studio pedagogy is rooted in the understanding that, quote, it is not just that the spatial is socially constructed, the social is spatially constructed too, Doreen Massey. This means that while the social constructs around how gender behaves and what gender does, in time, the manner in which we keep designing our spaces reinforces these social constructs. When our urban areas and public infrastructure, such as bus stops, parks, streets, and public toilets, begin to cater to the particular needs of women, only then we will begin to allow equitable cities to be a reality.
The revitalization of a fictional abandoned housing facility into an educational and cultural hub situated in the university area of Ahmedabad. This project focuses on designing and detailing of an architectural co-working space for 4 practices of 4 persons each, focused at deriving the idea from the existing and developing the details with respect to the program. The intervention aims at developing a platform that can connect people, a project that aims to inspire and provide for aspiring architects.
Hello, my name is Adhrita Roy. In this project, this house, set in the clustered streets of Udaipur, starts as a home for a family of 3, Usha, Abhimanyu, and their 1-year-old daughter, and aims to become a place where they can enjoy the essence of Udaipur in peace. With time, as Usha's hobby of pickle making grows into a business venture, the house also grows into an institution and expands to the adjacent site. Here, in this new plot, the aim was to build an efficiently functioning entity for business while creating an undisturbed environment for the residents. This was done by the incorporation of a courtyard between the built masses. A courtyard which would not only act as the buffer space but would also become a space the customers could enjoy while having their meals under the shade of the tree while simultaneously enjoying a glimpse of the lake. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Malay and I've designed a school with the help of space syntax, which is a system of analysis showing how spatial organization affects the social organization. The school creates a system where areas of high integration are spread across different levels, thereby creating active spaces where interactions occur and group work happens. To contrast this and facilitate focused learning, the classrooms are made more private, almost cut off from the activities happening in the corridor. The school partially upturns a few established hierarchies, for example, placing a part of the staff room in the corridor, and reinforces other hierarchies, like the principal and the admin being in a separate wing. The major pedagogical change in this school is the presence of separate private levels for the children to work in during free lectures and after school hours. This is done to ensure that they are completely free when they go home and can invest their time in extracurricular activities.
A place called Pondi Bazaar. I am Almitra from the Studio of Narratives in Architecture. In a prime commercial center of the city, Chennai, Pondi Bazaar, a flyover spans across the stretch of a bustling or rather chaotic street, witnessing over years the increasing influx of vehicles, the attentive eyes and ears contesting over space and safety, and sheltering the livelihood and dreams of many. The project is developed around the narrative of adaptive inhabitation of an uncanny toy that occupies the belly of a flyover as an entanglement of the stories of a vendor, a flaneur, and a kid. The studio dealt with the themes of inversion of private and public and degrowth set during the times of the pandemic. From the site mapping, several modules that serve the activities beneath the flyover are developed, such as shops, play, leisure, staircase, services, pods, spire, and passage, creating new networks of activities as a response to the flux characterizing Indian streets.
All right. So with that, come to the final segment, which is the vote of thanks, and it is my sort of responsibility to give the vote of thanks today. So let me start by thanking all the students at CEPT for the work you produce every semester in the studios that you participated. Your work is the pride of CEPT, and this exhibition clearly shows that it is something to be proud of. To all the tutors and TAs, for the mind and the heart you put into each student's work. Without this tremendous effort and this dedication, none of this would be possible. To all the deans, program chairs, TLC, the IT team, the communication team, the admin team, campus office, for everything that you do every day to support teaching and learning. To the board of review members and the jury panel, for the continued push and motivation and the encouragement that really pushes us all forward. To the Gujral Foundation team, Mrs. Gujral, Nidhi, and everyone else, thank you so much for your continued support. And finally, to everyone who took time out to attend this special online event, the online inauguration of our Excellence Awards. Thank you so much and have a great evening. We look forward to see you again next time. Thank you all.